Hi, I'm Nasreen Amri, the founder of Carrorism.
And I'm Fonde Bridges, the Carrorist spokesperson.
Welcome. So today it's episode number 10 of our Carrorist Conversations.
Yeah.
And today we'll be discussing hero consciousness.
One of my favorite subjects.
Yes.
Yeah.
So first I just, briefly want to touch on hero consciousness and maybe go into it a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a way of seeing the world and making decisions that lead to more heroic behaviors.
Yeah, exactly. It's really seeing that life is, in essence, a journey, right? Everything is in movement. Mm-hmm. Everything is happening now. And the way you relate to the variety of experiences, circumstances, uncertainty, even certainty, mm-hmm. right? We were just talking earlier today, someone could win the lottery and instantly feel like a victim because all their family is going to want money.
Right.
As opposed to being like, you won. That's a little hero consciousness, and you're like, you know what? I know how much my family could benefit from this money.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and so like hero consciousness, so to that point, hero consciousness, you're really seeking to end human suffering, whereas the villainous consciousness or victim consciousness is seeking to continue the human suffering. So, really, I would say hero consciousness is necessary for all of us to achieve a personal wholeness, mm-hmm. as much as a collective wholeness. And the more that we all work on it, the more that it benefits the future of our planet and ourselves as well.
All right. So, shall we get to the healthy word?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You want to pick? All right.
Sure.
Okay. It's been a while. What do you got?
Super. Courage.
Ha! There you go. And
it does take a lot of courage to want to pursue a heroic way of life, a heroic mindset.
Well said. Let's look at the
mm-hmm.
definition here.
Because in choosing to be heroic and living a heroic consciousness, you have to be aware of your thoughts.
So my question is the word courage or courageous?
It's courage.
Okay. All right. So courage is a noun. I love the nouns because they're actually something you can possess. Right? So you can possess courage. Love that. Courage, the ability to do something that frightens one. Strength in the face of pain or grief. I love that because you're doing it despite the fact that you are frightened. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You get it. You get what you're up against. You understand the circumstances. Yet you are being courageous. And I, immediately, right, my mind goes to all of the individuals on the front lines in healthcare right now who are dealing with the coronavirus. They see it. They understand it. Mm-hmm. They are in mm-hmm. the midst of it. And they go back courageously every single day. And I think a lot of us have moments of courage, mm-hmm. right, where there are something in our lives that impacts us that way. So I love that. I'm glad that's the healthy word of the day. It really touches, connects nicely with hero consciousness. All right, so are you going first or am I?
Well, I will, just because I heard
You're
you
so
say...
well prepared. It took me forever.
You know what, I'm doing kind of a big brush stroke, shout out, if you will, and it's stems off of what you just said about people on the front lines. So, they talk a lot about like the essential workers and people in healthcare and so on and so forth. But really, I wanted to celebrate all the parents, single parents especially, but just all the parents in general, because they are definitely having to step up to the plate and probably whether they like it or not, embody a hero consciousness.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
And so I had the privilege and the honor, I think my cat's trying to jump up, so be my guest or not, I had the privilege and honor of hanging out with my dear friend and her daughter over the weekend for a little bit of time. And she's a single mom. And so I really got to experience and have, the firsthand experience and ask questions. I asked her daughter questions like, so what are your biggest challenges being an 8-year-old going through this pandemic? And she was like, well, basically, not being able to see my friends. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of humans are feeling that way, missing the human connection, so to speak, in the way that they're used to having it.
Right.
And I was a single mom for quite a bit of time. And so I was able to have an immense amount of empathy, thinking about my own journey, but then also being like, wow, had I been a single mom during this phase, in this pandemic, you already wear a lot of hats, but now you have to wear a few more. Oh my gosh. And so that brought me to find the story of this woman. And her name is Rachel Simmons.
Okay.
And she's a best-selling author and educator. And so she's currently doing some I think webinars on pandemic parenting, which I thought were pretty cool.
That's really great.
And so this is just some of her pandemic parenting from a single mom. And so she said a couple tips, like it's important to reflect on where you want to relax.
You guys gonna?
Yeah.
As you said the word relax, you're like, here!
My arm needs to relax. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So where you want to relax and where you want to put more of the pressure on. So for example, if your kid is like, I really don't want to take a shower today, maybe you're like, all right, that's fine today, but then we should do X amount of, time with homework, And another thing she said, it's important to, if you can, to create a daily routine. I thought that was cool. I think most humans like routine.
Yeah.
And another thing that I thought was brilliant, which I think I personally work on as a parent, is allowing yourself to emote and have the feelings around your child, so that your child, it's normalized and it's okay for your children to see okay, yep, I'm nervous right now, or I have anxiety, and this is okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. One of the things that, one of the quotes that she said was, getting through this pandemic together will make our kids more resilient later on. And then this was kind of funny. She also said, one of these days when we encounter adversity, we'll be saying, well, this is nothing like the coronavirus. I thought it was kind of humorous, but and so I thought that was...
There are those moments where you're like, okay, this is bad, but it's not like that.
And I thought that was just a very heroic outlook on our current situation. So thank you to all the parents out there who are now wearing more hats, and I appreciate you all. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Well, as you know, excuse me, I don't know if your cat gave me a quick sneeze there, but I'm sure I'm corona-free. I hear that there are tests readily available for all of us every day. So if you don't see me for 3 weeks on the show, I was sneezing in vain. Actually, no, it's not in vain. I actually had the corona.
It could be this tablecloth too. It's a little dusty.
It's all good. Yeah. It's great. No worries. Look, I went a different route.
Okay.
I decided that, I didn't go a different route than I normally go. But I did in a little way. The quote doesn't really match, technically, to just hero consciousness. Mm-hmm. So the person I chose, his quote wasn't just about being heroic universally, but what I liked about it is you could put any other profession into the quote, and it would match beautifully. Okay. So it is a universal quote, but I don't think he intended it that way. But I took from it that anything. So I'll get to the quote in a minute. He was born in Madrid in 1883. I get excited about my research. He's born in Madrid in 1883 on the 9th of May. Today, I believe, is the 11th of May. When I began my research,
it was the 9th?
It was his birthday.
Okay.
And I did not know that. So that was really cool. That was like a moment where I was like, that was my aha moment where I was like, yes, you are
This is
chosen.
Meant to be.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is your 5,000th birthday or whatever the number is. I don't know. Anyway, by the age of 21, he had his first doctorate in philosophy. Now, what you may not know about me is that my father had a doctorate in philosophy, so that's kind of cool. Like when I saw that, I had a bigger smile, right? Think about but my dad was 45 and not 21 when he got his. And to his credit, though, he did go to college as an African American. My dad. Now this guy, he went to college too, but my dad went to college when he was 16, and the year was 1948. So I suspect had he not gone to the Korean War, maybe he would have gone off and got his doctorate in philosophy at 21. I don't know, but it got me connected. I was deep in. All right, that was a little fatherly sidetrack there. All right, so by the time it's 1910, the guy's born in 1883. He's married. He becomes a professor of metaphysics at a college in Madrid. He replaces Nicholas Salmera, the professor before him, who would eventually become the president of the First Spanish Republic. So I thought that was interesting because I think, he ended up following in the footsteps of someone who really had high aspirations, and I believe he himself also did. By 1929, at the age of 46, he will publish a series of newspaper articles that would become a book a year later. I decided, I went back and forth if I was going to say the name of the book. I am not.
Why would it be a big giveaway?
I don't know if it'd be a big giveaway. I just decided, I don't know. I went back and forth. Cool. But it made him internationally famous. So then I was like, well, maybe. I don't know who you people are out watching. I don't want to give it away. So maybe that was it. Maybe I didn't want to give it away. There we go. Yes. From 1936 until 1948, he lived in exile because in 1936 the Spanish Revolution started, and the Spanish Civil War. Civil War. And so he, in his Civil War, was from 36 to 39, but he didn't return until 48. He also created a brand new term. And the term is rational-vitalism, which broken down is vital reasoning.
Racial or how do you say that?
It's rational-vitalism.
Racial?
Yeah, like racial, like not race,
racial.
but like
rational.
Yeah, rational. Vitalism.
Rational reasoning. Wait, no.
Vitalism.
Rational vitalism. Okay.
Yeah, it's like vital reasoning, right? You need these are essential points of reasoning. So I thought that was pretty cool, and that was like the cornerstone to being kind of a philosopher. To summarize what that whole theory was, rational vitalism, is a quote: "I live, therefore I think." And you must know I love that. I live, therefore I think. I can't think of a more beautiful way to live than thinking. It's beautiful. All right. Here's the quote. The political hero erects the fortress of his will. And I thought you could take political out.
Yep.
And you could say any kind of hero. Ultimately, you could say the hero erects the fortress of his will.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, that is gorgeous. And the person I chose was Jose Ortega y Gasset. Or Y Gasset, I think it is. Yes. Jose Ortega y Gasset. So that is the individual that I chose. And I was really grateful to learn a lot about him. I learned so much. There's so many more things to say. But I just thought the quote about erecting one's will as a fortress, like your willpower.
Right.
Your desire as a hero to accomplish what would take courage, I guess, would be a great way to describe it, right? Something where you understand that you are aware of the challenges, the pain, the grief, the suffering that may come your way, but you go on anyways. So
And you go on. I mean, you go on, but then you also go on about it in your own way. And I think that's a lot of time where the courage really needs to be applied. Because yes, you're, like for example, there are a lot of parents, right, that are they're going on because they're parenting. There really isn't a whole lot of other choices, but you know, I think some of them are like really taking it by the reins and reassessing their own way of dealing with stressful situations, and they're saying, how can we do this together? How can I find new ways, new strategies? And I think that's really beautiful and powerful. They're courageous to go in and seek to grow.
Yeah. So I've got the question for you. And,
I forgot.
Did you forget?
Kinda.
Yeah. Well, so
That one snuck up on me.
Oh, good. Well, the question is, will you ever have guests on the show?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that.
Yeah.
Or whoever asked that. Yeah.
Well,
because
it wasn't me.
No, but we
I've
have
been asked
quite a few
now.
people now have been commenting like it'd be great if you had guests, and absolutely, definitely, we are currently in an interview process with a few people, and yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've covered everything. Got anything else to tell anybody?
No, thank you so much for tuning in, and I think Fun Day's quinoa is almost finished over there. I can smell it cooking. Very healthy choice. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and
My quinoa is cooking. This is great. Be kind to yourself and everyone else.
and keep on carrorising. Thank you.
Goodbye.